Thanks for stopping by. Today I'm going to show you how to troubleshoot the oven on your range or your stove. This one's all electric, so let's get to it. You need to be able to get to the back side, so pull it out so you can get to it. And so on your oven, down low, where the electrical cord comes in, whether you have a plug or just wires coming out of the wall, you should have a small panel here. We need to take this off to make sure we have the proper voltage. There is going to be live electricity behind this, so just be aware of that. Take your multimeter and set it to the highest AC voltage. This one's 750 because we need to check for 220. Most electric ovens now have 4 wires. The green or the bare wire is going to be your ground. Don't have to worry about that. And then the black and the red together should give you 220, so let's check that first. Okay, I have 247 volts, 248, that's fine. Just need to check that. And if you go from one of these to the middle one or the white, you should get around 120. This is 123, so I'm good with that. Let's disconnect the power and take the back off. If you don't have a plug on your oven, just shut off the breaker before you start taking this apart. So on this one, you have to pull down the panel because it tucks behind the upper one, and then there's these little things here that it rests in. Don't be overwhelmed by all these wires. An oven's a very simple device. So up top is the broil element, these 2 connections here. Down below is the bake element, which are these 2 here. And this one also has another element here because it has convect, and this provides additional heat when the fan's on. We need to check the elements and make sure they're not broken. Before you check the resistance across the element, disconnect the wires to make sure you're not getting the reading of something else inside the oven. And just put your probes across the element. The resistance on the top one is about 15, bottom one's about 17, and this one's about 41. So all of our heating elements are coming out in the proper range. They should be normally around 16, anything up to around 75, depending on the size of the element, is going to be good. So we need to check other things now. Right here is the thermistor or thermocouple. It's technically a thermistor. There's a probe that goes through into where the baking happens and it comes out. You'll be able to identify it because it's going to have this braided thing on here, and the wires have a braided cloth on it because it's going to be hot, so it needs some protection. We need to check the resistance on this. So at room temperature, you should get a resistance reading of about 1,000, so set your ohm meter to where it needs to be. Mine I'm putting on 20. So again, at room temperature, this should be somewhere around 1,000. And I'm getting 1.1, which is 1,100, so that's good. Sometimes the destructions that are taped to the back of your oven will have a chart like this to let you know what the reading should be. At this point, most troubleshooting are going to tell you if your heating elements are all ohming out okay and your thermistor is ohming out okay, that you need to replace the control board or the computer for the oven. And you're looking at $300 and up depending on the oven. I want to go a little bit further because I don't think I need to replace the computer on this. Part of the reason why is I have no indication of any problems on the display. I put it on whatever setting I want and it works fine. There's no error codes, there's no indication that it's not working. So I think maybe there's something else going on. So the control board or the computer is behind this panel here, so I'm going to take this off next. I have the power hook back up because I need to do some further troubleshooting to see why I'm not getting any heat. So just be careful when you're working with the power hook back up. And just as a reminder, you should have 220 across the black and the red. Here I have 240, that's close enough. And then from either the black or red to the white, you should have 120. So I have that. So now I'm going to check out some of the settings of the oven. Right now, reading across the top terminal, I have 0 volts. I'm going to put it on broil and see what happens. Okay, I have the oven on broil, and now when I check across these two terminals, I'm getting 240 volts. So that's good. And if you have a clamp-on meter like this, you can put it on AC amperage and just clamp it across one of the wires, and I'm getting 16 amps. So I know I'm getting good amp draw, and I can also put my hand inside the oven. That element's getting hot. Okay, now I have it on bake, and when I check across the two lower elements, I'm not getting any voltage reading whatsoever. So I'm not getting voltage to the lower element. I check from one side to the neutral, I'm getting 120. The way the oven has to work is I need power from the red and the black, or leg 1 and leg 2, to get 220 across these terminals, and I'm not getting it. So for some reason, I'm not getting power down to the oven. So I'm going to shut it off and try something else. Okay, I shut the oven off and disconnected the two wires for the lower element. Now I'm going to put it back on bake. Just to verify, the two wires that go to the lower element, I have 0 voltage. From the neutral or the white wire to this yellow wire, which is the left side, I'm not getting any voltage. If I check against the orange wire and the neutral, I'm getting 120 volts. So I'm getting 120 volts to the orange wire, but I'm not getting 120 volts to the yellow wire. And I need to get power to both sides for this heating element to get hot. So I need to find out why the yellow wire is not getting power. Okay, here's the back of the control panel, and this is the yellow wire that should be getting power when I'm on bake, and it's not getting power. And again, normally the troubleshooting is going to tell you replace the control board. Well, that's $300. I don't think I need a complete control board. And I'm just zooming in here to verify that on the control board it says bake for the yellow wire and it says broil for the blue wire. So I should be getting power on that yellow wire. And again, everything seems to be working right on the control panel. I can hear the relays clicking, which are these black things right here, but I'm not getting any power to this yellow wire. I'm going to take this control panel out and get a better look at it. Okay, I have the power disconnected, and to take the control board out, it's just move these wires out of the way, disconnect a couple of these, and take out the 4 screws. I hope you didn't click off when I said I'm going to troubleshoot this electrical board, because this is the kind of thing that could save you a ton of money. Like I said, on this particular oven, this board is about $300. Prices vary, but these things are very expensive. So why would I start messing around with it? Well, I've done all the other troubleshooting that everybody says to do, and now I'm at the step where it says replace the board. So if I do something to screw this up, I need a new board anyway, but I think I could fix this. All right, and here's the reason why I think I can fix this. This is the bake element connection, and this is the broil element connection. They're both working, and as I said earlier, the computer's not giving any indication of a problem, so I'm thinking that this right here, this relay, is somehow faulty. Because what a relay does is it's basically just an on-off switch. It gets power from the computer, that flicks the switch, and will send power to this terminal here. So I want to check out this relay and see if that's what's bad, because if I can just replace this relay, it's going to save me a ton of money and I don't have to buy a whole new computer. So these little things right here are clips, and there's a retainer in here. And the way you get this out is you squeeze together and you pull out this thing right here. That's it, the board comes right off. Sometimes you can find a part number on these and just get the entire board. Again, this is the relay I think is bad, so I'm going to show you how to check it. So these relays are powered by 12 volts DC, but you can use anything close enough. You can even use a 9-volt battery if you have one strong enough. I don't have one strong enough, so I'm just using the battery out of my drill. And you should hear it clicking when you make the connection. Okay, so both relays are working. So let me check for continuity across the terminals when I power the relay. So this right here between these two is for the broil. So when I power the relay, I'm getting connection across there, and this is for the bake. So the relay is definitely working. I can hear it clicking, but I'm not getting continuity across the switch. So I'm going to change out this relay and see if that fixes it. On these relays, you're going to see a bunch of numbers. I'll put a link to the one I ordered, but you're going to have to find out which one you need exactly because they mean a lot of different things, all the codes on here. But this is an Omron, so that's the one I'm going to order with the right codes because it depends on the voltage and what kind of amperage you're going to put through it. You don't necessarily need a soldering setup like this, but you are going to need something like this to remove the solder. This one's a spring-loaded push button that'll suck the solder up, or you can use one of those little squeeze balls. Just going to have to remove the solder as you're removing this relay. I took the relay and cut it open with the Dremel just to show you what's inside. Little electromagnet, and it makes the connection when this moves back and forth. It's really hard to see, but right here is where the connection's made, and it's really toasty there, so it's all burnt up. So now I'm just going to solder in a new relay and see how it goes. Alright, so now with the new relay back in, let's see if it works. I think I may have just fixed this oven for about $15. The only thing to be careful about when putting this board back in this particular oven is there's a bunch of pins here that need to go into this socket. Just don't force it, take your time. Little clips. And now I can put it back in the oven. So luckily I didn't need a whole control board, just swapping out that relay, fixed the oven, and now I can get back to my true passion, which is baking. Hopefully you found this video helpful to you, and you'll be able to fix your oven. Thanks for watching.